Hi, and welcome to the channel. If you're brand new here, I'm Tim. I upload new videos every week all about running. Today, I'm taking a look at 3 daily trainers that were released this year: the Nike Pegasus 37, the Saucony Ride 13, and the Asics Dynablast. Now, this video was suggested by Tim. If you have a suggestion or a video you'd like to see, feel free to leave it in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to get it up on YouTube for you. So let's start with a demonstration of these shoes. So let's see what they can do in action, and then when we get back, we'll talk about their fit, their performance, and how they compare to one another. So today, because we're looking at 3 different shoes, I'm going to narrow our focus to basically fit and performance. If you want to check out a full review of any one of these 3 shoes, I'll leave a link in the description below that'll take you directly there. So I'm going to start with the Asics Dynablast, which is the newest released shoe first. It also happens to be the least expensive. It cost $110 US. And it's also the lightest of the 3 shoes. Its stated weight is 8.8 ounces. I put it on my scales for a men's size 9, and it came in at 8.4 ounces or 239 grams. So let's talk about the fit of the shoe. Now, it has a knit upper. There's plenty of room in that toe box for your toes. It has some perforations there as well to allow a little bit of airflow. Around that mid-foot section and the eyelet chain, now they reinforced that material, and rightfully so that when you cinch up your laces, you can achieve a good lockdown feeling. And then back in the heel cup, they did a nice job with some reinforced material around the heel counter, as well as that padding around the collar and heel tab that creates a nice pocket for your heel to sit in. So overall, I'd say that the shoe fits really well, and it's very comfortable underfoot. Now, while this is a nice, comfortable upper, how does it compare to the Nike Pegasus 37 or the Saucony Ride 13? Well, this is more of a budget version of a daily trainer than those 2 shoes. They both the 37 as well as the Ride 13 have a superior upper, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So now let's look at the midsole of the shoe. They've got lots of their FLYTEFOAM Blast material. They've got 28 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 16 millimeter stack height in that forefoot for a 12 millimeter drop from the heel to the toe. And with all of that FLYTEFOAM Blast material, it falls between the Pegasus 37 and the Ride 13 in terms of cushioning underfoot, or at least in my opinion, it does. However, I found it to have the least amount of energy return. Now, unlike its older sibling, the Nova Blast, that I felt like there was lots of energy return in that FLYTEFOAM Blast material, they really dampened this down quite a bit, really too much so in my opinion. I just didn't feel like I was getting the help through my gait cycle that I do with the other shoes. And along those lines, it didn't feel as natural flowing through my gait cycle as the other two shoes did as well. So let's just flip it over and we'll take a look at the outsole as long as we're talking about the performance of this shoe. And you'll see that they have that groove that runs along the center of it. Now, that is designed to give it a trampoline effect, and it worked very well in its older sibling, the Nova Blast. But again, that's another feature of this shoe that they kind of dumbed down or dampered down from the previous or from its older sibling, and probably just a little too much so. I don't get that trampoline effect or don't feel it like I did in the Nova Blast. And so compared to the other two shoes we're talking about today, the Pegasus 37 as well as the Ride 13, I just don't feel like I'm getting as much help through my foot strike and gait cycle as I do with those other two shoes. So of the three shoes we're looking at today, the Asics Dynablast for both fit as well as performance, in my opinion, comes in third. So let's take a look at the Saucony Ride 13. It is the most expensive of the three options. It costs $130 US, but also, in my opinion, it's the best built of the three shoes. So you can see that in just the quality of the materials that they used, the comfort that they built into the shoe. Now, with that comfort comes a little bit of weight. It comes in at 10.1 ounces on my scales. And again, that's for a men's size 9 or 287 grams. So it is a bit heavy. But it is a comfortable shoe, and I do get a lockdown feeling when I cinch up those laces. It has a very traditional lacing system, so not much remarkable really happening there. But once I cinched the laces down and I achieved the feeling that I was going for, I felt like I held that lockdown feeling throughout my workout, so it did a good job there. Now, the material is an engineered mesh material. So again, I think it's pretty durable and it's going to last a long time. They've got some extra padding. I think of the three shoes, this has the most padding around that heel collar and that heel tab area. And they've got plenty of material for structure in the heel counter. So it creates a nice heel cup for your heel to set in. So again, you feel nice and secure when you're out running. You don't have any heel slippage, or I didn't anyway, either up or down or side to side. I think the comfort of this shoe overall is the best of the three. So now let's take a look at the midsole of the shoe. It's made up of their PWRRUN foam. They have 32 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 24 millimeter stack height in the forefoot for an 8 millimeter drop from the heel to the toe. That is a lot of foam underfoot. Now, you would think with that much foam that it would be the most cushioned of the three different shoes, and that's really not the case here. It is probably the least cushioned of the three shoes. The Nike Pegasus 37 being the most cushioned feeling underfoot, followed then by the Asics Dynablast, and then we have the Saucony Ride 13. But what you lose in cushioning, you gain in responsiveness or bounce. That PWRRRUN midsole foam is very responsive. I felt like I had lots of energy return through my foot strike, and it feels really natural. A very smooth ride when you're out running. Now, they don't advertise this as having any kind of speed roll technology that they developed, but it certainly feels like it has some type of rocker or speed roll technology built into the shoe. Now, part of that could be, as we flip it over and we look at that outsole, it has lots of rubber, but you can see that it has that tri-flex system up there on that forefoot. And basically those are, for lack of a better term, relief cuts, but it just allows for a more natural feeling through your foot strike, again, through your gait cycle, that allows a little bit of flex for your toe off, and that feels terrific. It really does give you a nice, smooth ride. Now, where this shoe really shines for me is, although it's the least cushioned of these three shoes underfoot, it doesn't mean that it isn't providing you with plenty of cushion, because it does. But it holds up throughout your run. So regardless of the length of time that you're spending out on the road, you're going to hold that level of cushion or comfort throughout the entire run. So whether it's 5 miles or 10 miles, it feels the same from that first mile all the way through the last. So, and I did really appreciate that in this shoe. So let's look at the Pegasus 37 now. It comes in at $120 US. It's the heaviest of the 3 shoe options. It weighs 10.5 ounces on my scale for men's size 9, or 300 grams. So let's look and see what you're getting for all that additional weight. It has an engineered mesh upper. I wouldn't say that it's highly breathable. It does allow some airflow, but a part of the issue with the Peg 37 is that it has a fully gusseted tongue, which is nice, but that does add some extra material that air needs to get through before it gets to your foot. Consequently, it does run warm, but so do the other 2 shoes, as I mentioned earlier. Now let's look at the fit of the shoe. Now they do a remarkable job. In terms of getting a lockdown feeling, I think the Peg 37 is the best of the 3. And that's because of this tabbed system that they have. So the difference is between cinching your laces down and banding your foot down to the shoe. And those fit tabs do a remarkable job of form fitting to the different foot shapes that are out there. So it just gives a nice form-fitted lockdown feeling in the shoe. And again, I think it's the best of the 3 when it comes to a lockdown feeling. It's worth noting, however, that the Pegasus 37 runs narrow in that forefoot. So if you have a wide foot, this might not be the right shoe for you. Now, for overall comfort, they have some adequate padding around that heel, as well as that heel tab of the shoe. They do have, unlike the other shoes, a little bit of an Achilles heel flare here, and that does add to the comfort of the shoe as well. Again, I think this shoe comes in second in terms of comfort. I think the Saucony Ride 13 is the most comfortable of the 3 shoes, but in terms of lockdown feeling, I think the Nike Pegasus 37 is the winner in terms of that. Now let's take a look at their midsole. This is their React foam. It has plenty of React foam from the heel to the toe. It has a 24 millimeter stack height in the heel and a 14 millimeter stack height in the forefoot. Now, in that forefoot, however, and this is different than the other 2 shoes, is they have a bit of tech in there. It's their air unit, and it sits only in the forefoot. And here's the issue that I have with the Peg 37. When I start out running, it feels pretty terrific. It's the most cushioned shoe, and I do like to have a little extra cushion out on my daily runs. And it feels terrific for about the first 5 or 6 miles. And then I start to really feel that airbag in my forefoot. And it's a little bit of a unique feeling to begin with. So you kind of feel like you have your toes curled over that airbag just a little bit. So imagine if you were a diver standing on the edge of a diving board and you got your toes kind of curled over the end. That's a little bit of that feeling that you get with that airbag. Now, it's not uncomfortable. It's just unusual. It does take a little bit of getting used to. But I've noticed that, at least for me, the longer that I spend in the shoe running, the more I feel that airbag in that forefoot. In terms of the overall performance of that React foam, I do feel like I get some help through my gait cycle, my foot strike. I feel like there's plenty of energy return that React foam produces for me. So that does feel pretty darn terrific. It's a very natural feeling for me. I roll through my gait cycle. It's very smooth, not as smooth, however, as the Saucony Ride 13. So having looked at all 3 shoes now, the winner for me is the Saucony Ride 13. Although it's a little bit more expensive than the other 2 shoes and a little less cushioned, it provided the most consistent, smooth ride of the 3. The durability of the shoe is, I think, going to be remarkable. The build quality is outstanding. So I really enjoy running in a shoe. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, maybe give it a thumbs up. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.